fine? I mean, are we?
NCPS 2 minutes.
Are we ready? Okay. Let's see, what time is it? 5:39. Are we ready? Okay, I'm going to call the Pawnee Business Council special meeting to order. It's September the 17th, 5:39 p.m. At this time, I would like to ask Dr. Evans if he would give us the invocation, please.
Thank you, President Nuttall. Noatius, Tidawaha, Lord, Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and the beauty of the world around us, and help us to have our eyes open to the blessings that we're surrounded by. And I know so often we can get caught up in the negative things that are around us, and there are many, but help us to be strong and be being examples to those around us, to show the goodness, especially of our Pawnee people. Help us to try to find ways to do the best we can as a council for our people, and to be wise, and forgive us when we fall short. Help us all to remember those who are not home, and give them comfort, and know that they're always a part of us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you for that, Dr. Evans. At this time, we'll move to item number 2, roll call.
Misty Nuttall.
Here.
Jordan Canujo. Here. George Gardepy here. Carol Chapman.
Here.
Cynthia Butler.
Here.
Donna Hare.
Ms. Hare is excused.
Gene Evans.
Here.
Sammy Kimball.
Here.
All right. Item number 3, we have approval of the agenda. Are there any changes, additions, deletions?
President Nuttall?
Something,
I do too.
President Nuttall, thank you. Item number 6 on new business, approval of resolution 2455, Pawnee Nation District Court Public Defender, temporary emergency appointment. I'd like this table so we can further discuss. This is coming in as an emergency appointment, and I'd like to have that discussion due to the funding and why. Thank you.
Okay.
President Nuttall, I also have item number 3, which I would like to have tabled and taken to discuss further. Discussion and/or action on memorandum of understanding with the Pawnee Seed Preservation Society.
This has to do with freezer space
Yeah.
that went through property and ag committee.
The seed right.
We haven't talked about it.
We haven't talked about it. It should have come to the council.
This-
Anything that involves our property or our money, we should talk about that at the PBC level before it gets put on the agenda. And it did not come to the council to discuss. It came straight from committee level.
That's how our processes
Yeah.
work.
Not always. We've had discussions about this over the years.
So are you
And-
requesting to take it?
Yet to table or to
Group? Because
take-
we're looking at approving the agenda, so we need a motion to approve the agenda with removing these items.
That's where we're going.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we
Yeah.
need that motion, and then a
Oh.
vote will need to be taken on it. We can't table them because we're not to those items.
Okay.
It has to be in the motion to approve the agenda.
President
Yes.
Nuttall, I'm going to request that we approve this agenda for September 17th, removing and tabling item number 5.3, which is the discussion and or action on the memorandum of understanding with the Pawnee Seed Preservation Society. Item number 5.6, which is approval of Resolution 2455, Pawnee Nation District Court Public Defender Temporary Emergency Appointment. I'm asking for approval of the agenda. I move to approve it with those changes. Thank you.
I'll second.
We've got a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Kimball, second by Treasurer Chapman. Any discussion? If no further discussion, go ahead, Councilwoman Butler.
The memorandum of understanding came to this body twice, I thought. I think it came to us twice, and we tabled it twice already, or we removed it, or we didn't have any action on it, from what I recall, because I remember it coming to this body, but it didn't go to the Ag Committee. So, okay, so it went to property, but now then it went through the other procedure. So I don't mind looking at this. I do have some suggested revisions, but, you know, I don't know. I don't have a problem with reviewing it and looking at it because Ag has already reviewed it. It's their part of what they got going on, and they were, you know, bringing it forward for that. The other one for the district court public defender, we've done this in the past, that court cases have to be heard, and I think that it's vital. We can't just
This is a 3-year contract at $400 a day.
And I have questions on it, and I was going to bring them up whenever we came through here because it should never have said, because it was given to us as an emergency temp hire.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I was going to bring that up whenever we go through the resolution, because we're not appointing this person for 3 years. It's a temporary hire, but this person also has the right to come in and apply for the position as it's being advertised. So, you know, and then, you know, it comes to this body, but we don't want to hold up what the court's doing. And I know that there are court cases that need to be done. They need a public defender.
Well,
And
can we hold it for 2 weeks so we can discuss this in our group meeting?
Well, we're having the discussion, we're having a discussion now on the approval of the agenda. So we have a motion on the floor. This is the discussion. That would be the suggestion, or the recommendation is to table for 2 weeks. So right now, we're voting to approve whether to make the changes to the agenda or not.
Right.
So any further
That's-
discussion related to
That was my
the
only
agenda?
discussion, but I'm not in
I
favor.
would like to suggest we make those changes as we get to them.
I can't hear you.
I suggest that we make those changes as we get to them. Otherwise, we're going to keep up with a lot of different things on this. But
Okay.
And I would like to be able to discuss a little bit, like how urgent is it, that kind of thing that I don't know, we can't do now, that's not part of the conversation right now.
With the agenda.
But I think it's, if we go ahead and leave it on the agenda now, we may end up tabling, but I'd like to be able to at least talk about it a little bit,
Okay,
which we
well,
can't doing it
So to
now.
clarify, again, that's what we're voting on. If you want to discuss it, continue to discuss it, then you need to leave it as is. If you want to be able to table it, then the motion on the floor that stands is to
Remove it.
3 and
approve the
6.
agenda and omit 3 and 6, and the recommendation is to table them until the next meeting.
Yes.
So
In 2
that's
weeks,
what we're
so we
voting
can talk
on
about it
right now.
Next
So if
Tuesday.
you're in favor of, or if you're opposed and want to hear it tonight, that's what's
Okay.
at hand. So any further discussion related to that?
No, call for the vote.
If not, we will call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
No.
George Gardapi, no. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
No.
Gene Evans,
No.
Sammy Kimball.
And I'll be a yes, but I will tell you guys this much. That's why we didn't want to have this stuff put out into the public, so we can have a discussion that is nice and civil and done right without an audience. So we're going to go there tonight.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as is.
I'll second.
We've got a motion to approve the agenda by Councilwoman Butler, second by Vice President Canuho. Any further discussion? If not, we will call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman,
For the approval of the agenda,
Yes.
we've already voted not to keep them on there.
It's a new motion.
It's a new motion, which is just that we didn't take
And what's
anything
the
out.
motion again? I'm sorry.
To approve the agenda as is.
Sure.
Okay. Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Okay. Next item we have is item number 4, PBC travel reports and requests. Do we have any requests for travel?
I do.
Yes,
The
Councilwoman.
Tribal Finance Consortium meeting in the Osage Casino later this month.
And I believe that's already been,
Yes, yes, officially, want to ask.
it's already been approved,
Right.
but did you get with her on your?
Yes,
travel?
we
Okay.
did everything.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that one's already
Yeah.
been requested. Anything else? Any other requests? If not, we'll move on to item number 5, new business. Item number 1, approval of resolution 2453, Indian Electric Cooperative Right-of-Way, Pawnee Tribal Development Corporation, sorry. And I have the easement that was submitted by request. Was this provided in your packet as well? Okay. Does anybody have any questions on this? This was discussed during the work group, and he did forward. The error was that the attachment wasn't submitted when he sent the initial email. So does anybody have any issues?
I just have one issue. I cannot hear anybody. Is there any way we can raise the volume up just a tad, please? Thank you. Yeah, it sounds real mumbly. Perfect. Can you hear me better? Is that better? Thank you. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Hearing no discussion, I have one thing, and it says Pawnee Tribal Development Corp. On the 3rd. It's like basically a heading, if we can just get that edited. And then if there's no issues or no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2453.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, got a motion on the floor and a second. Let's call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Item number 2, approval of resolution 2454, land into trust application. This is brought to us by the Tribal Development Corporation on the Bellew parcel. Is there any discussion?
I do have a revision at the end of the first now therefore be it resolved. Because these are resolved, it should be a period there instead of a semicolon and an and.
Which, whereas, oh, let's see.
At the end of that sentence.
Okay, did you get that change? Okay.
Sorry, and it's just me reading it as, I read it earlier, but we restate the reason why we're asking for trust in that, be it further resolved. We've already said it in the prayer, the first part of the prayer. It doesn't have to be restated again. We're only giving the authorization to the president to sign the application, and that's what that second one, be there further resolved, should state.
Can
you've
we
already-
just add that last part of it to the first one?
And we could, yeah, we just make it into one, because it already describes it up in the top and then twice in the bottom.
And if so we can have it read, hereby authorize the business council president, because I think we were trying to get away from putting the names. Yes. Okay. Any other changes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2454, Land and Trust Application.
I'll make the motion to approve with changes.
Got a motion by Councilwoman Butler. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Evans. Let's call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Garvey, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Okay, item number 3, discussion and/or action on memorandum of understanding with the Pawnee Seed Preservation Society. If someone from Land or Ag want to present on this.
What's that? I couldn't hear you.
You want to, Sonny?
Okay.
It's so well versed.
Are we ready to discuss it?
She's going to
Cindy's going to present.
do a presentation.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for the hearing. Our draft memorandum of understanding that was created by the Division of Ag for use of our cold storage in what was called the COVID building, but is now the Division of Ag offices. Having an MOU with Pawnee Seed Preservation Society, 501c3 that you guys, I'm sure, are all familiar with. So I think you should have all gotten the draft that we wrote. It has gone through committee. I know that there was, at the end of that committee, there was discussion about sending it to the Attorney General and making sure that he had a chance to vet it before it came to you for your decision-making on how you'd like to proceed.
And that has been done, and that's been forwarded to council.
Okay. I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if you would like me to just kind of give a synopsis, I can do that. Yeah, okay. So Pawnee Seed Preservation Society has organized into a 501c3 with a mission for helping to bring back, revitalize our traditional seed crops. They are separate from us, thank you, but it is part of the mission that the Division of Ag sees for Pawnee Nation agriculture is to support, in whatever ways that our leadership deems to be useful, anything that we think could support the greater effort of Pawnee Nation agriculture and Pawnee Nation as a, separate from the tribal government. So this would be just a one-year MOU period. It would allow a designated space within both the freezer and the walk-in cold storage units, neither of which we have full yet, although they are filling. But it would give them an opportunity, hopefully, to secure their own cold storage somewhere else. And of course, would leave us with the choice, if adopted, to renegotiate after that year, if we decided we needed to get some sort of compensation for that space, or if we needed it at any time within that year, it would give us the ability to give them, with 2 weeks' notice to them, plenty of notice so that they would give them some opportunity to find someplace else we could get that space back if necessary. Say, we needed it. Say there was, something unforeseen came up and we just needed that space for Pawnee Nation governmental use. That's the majority of what's in there. Everything else is just based around making sure that our property is protected and that we have the means to get out of this if, for some reason, things aren't working out between us.
Any questions for Ms. Evans?
Excuse me. I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so, can I, go ahead.
Oh, I
okay.
said yes, Treasurer Chapman.
Yes, this Pawnee Seed Preservation Society is a privately owned 501c3 by Deborah Eckelhawk. And in this memorandum of agreement, it says that this purpose to store this traditional corn and foods will enhance the availability of healthier food options at cultural events. And it says PSPC will in turn have the capacity to safely store food for distribution at cultural gatherings, to serve tribal members and elders, and to supply a food bank and to store prepared items for future sales and charitable donations. Okay, my first question is, they are doing a lot of their work for profit, and as it says, for future sales. I am wondering why we did not charge anything for them to do this. My second question is, on the distribution at cultural gatherings, what specifically and how much are they committing to distributing at our cultural gatherings, which are very large and very many events? It doesn't say how much or when, and it says to serve tribal members and elders. So are they going to serve our elderly population, Title VI? Are they going to do that? It doesn't state anything. It's just in general. And it says to supply a food bank. Are they going to supply us a food bank where our people can get food from this, since we're giving it to them free? And then to store the items for future sales and charitable donations. My concern with that is we have other Pawnee people who have 501c3s. Mm-hmm. So why are we giving them complete and total access and not others? To me, there's not a fairness there. So I guess my main concern is what we are supposed to get back here, because it states we're going to get a lot back. So what specifically can we expect and know that we're going to receive?
Those are very insightful questions, and I can't really answer that other than what it says here. I have the same document as you. This is an MOU, should be something for something else, which I did express when I shared this with Pawnee Seed Preservation to begin with, that there is an expectation of, we would receive something in return. So that paragraph that you read out is what they provided. I know that they have provided for some of our cultural ceremonies, but I certainly can't account for that. That's not my job or my place. They would have to account for that. As far as charging or whatever, you guys, the council would see as appropriate compensation if they were to be interested in MOU. That's, I think, for you to say. I think you know better kind of the big picture. So, but thank you for those questions.
Thank you for that, Sunny. Councilwoman Butler.
Thank you, Sunny, for that answering those questions. But I do agree with Treasurer Chapman on there should be some kind of compensation. I know I read the other MOU for the greenhouse, and they were going to be providing a food bank in exchange. And so I asked the question to council today, why would we not charge for their space cost? Because it says that the Pawnee Nation was not utilizing it, but now it's being utilized by somebody other than us. So I think that, and it doesn't have to be something outrageous. It just may be $75 to $100 a month that pays for the electricity that is associated, because now they're utilizing it. And there's going to be costs to do that. There also are some grammatical errors in here that I need to be pointed out. I can give that to somebody, whoever wants to relay that to them. But other than that, I just think that it would be a good suggestion that we charge them for that space, because that your program is going to be taken away from that space because they're given full access to that space. They can do what they need, put shelving in that space, so therefore they're occupying that space. So I think that you guys don't sell yourselves short of getting. That could be program funding for you guys, or it could be funding for to help pay the electric bill that could go into space cost. Just making that suggestion. That I just don't like it that we give the ranch away whenever we're doing things like this and we're not getting anything in return on our side. Thank you.
Yeah, and I also have, and I have to agree with Cynthia. I completely agree with you and Carol in wondering about why is the onus of the electricity just on the tribe when they're sharing with us, right? And I really think it's an inequity to other 501c3s and to our other people that do catering, and then they're going to want to put their food over there. And then when does it end? Okay, I just want to say that much, with no disrespect, but it's a fair question. When does the give end? And then and I'm in ag, and I'm in the property committee, on both those committees, and I want to support food sovereignty and our tribal seeds and all. I mean, it's a goodness in it. There's goodness in it. But you can't, if you're going to want to go down that route and you want to have your own little company, then by golly, go do it. Don't come back and lean on us. And I do have an exception, and under the bullet of access, on page number 2, it says the director will arrange for staff to meet PSPS representatives to unlock the door. I'm good with that. Let's arrange and unlock the door if indeed this is going to come to fruition. But to provide a key to be checked out for a period requested, I'm a no. I don't think our keys should be just handed out. And I want to be fair to everybody. Everybody, the Sunny Boy Phils, the Pawnee Horse Chiefs, and all those folks that like to cook and have a place. Even our veterans and our Princess Committee, we all suffer and have to worry about buying our meat at the last minute so we have a place to store it. So let's just be fair. And I like the comment about the funding for utilities, and I really want to take that. We're going to provide keys out. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, Secretary Gardepy.
I just want to say that I totally agree. And during our committee meeting, we didn't think of that. So I think that's a great point. So I see it now, and I agree that there should be some compensation to pay for the electric. So we can send this back to Seeds.
You want to send it back or just make a recommendation for an amount?
Well, we could do that too.
I have another
Yes,
comment on it.
Treasurer Chapman.
On security, I agree with Councilwoman Kimball, but it says here that PSPS can have a key and that they can allow other people to come onto our premises and use our work on this. And it said PSPS should limit access to those individuals they trust. Now, who they trust, is that going to be who we trust, or are we turning this all over to them? Because when it's our facilities, and our money, I'm just not comfortable handing it over to some organization or some person that is not officially employed or contracted with the tribe. And to me, I can see that there could be a lot of potential problems with that right there. And let's see, one other thing was, okay, so this partnership is going to require them to have additional shelving or a physical structure in there. Again, this is our building, and I am just opposed to another organization coming in and having the ability to alter our facilities. I just don't agree with that either, I'm sorry. And also that they may request additional maintenance from the Pawnee Nation. Again, they are not paying one thing to us, but yet they can request that we maintain their personal business. I just do not agree with that either. But that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Can I say?
Yes,
Just
Sunny.
to be fair, to let everybody know, I wrote almost all this document. These things that you're bringing up, as you discuss them, I realize, that's a problem. That's why it's good that you guys are looking at them. But this is, the things that you've brought up recently aren't things that came, to be fair to them, did not come from Pawnee Seed Preservation Society. Those are my words, because I'm not a lawyer. And I did my best to pretend to be a lawyer, but in truth, it needs your eyes on it, so.
I think I would move that we table this and that we.
Thank you.
Right, because obviously there are issues that of significance that we need to review and find an answer to. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion on the floor by Dr. Evans
Thank you, Doctor.
and second by Vice President Canujo. One more thing to add. If we can, we'll get the changes and everything that was addressed to you to add. What's the other issue? But that having that, the questions that you had mentioned, Treasurer Chapman, about the type of not assistance, but the type of seeds and everything that is to be, I guess, donated by them to us. I mean, that would, to me, would be between them and whatever entity that they're donating to or that they have an agreement with. When we had learned about the MOU, it was thought that we were going to get seeds. Are we getting seeds for the Ag Division?
Yeah,
And
are
is
you
that,
getting
because I
seeds?
didn't see that spelled out anywhere in here.
That was a prior MOU that was signed for greenhouse use.
Okay.
So that was a separate MOU that was signed last year.
Okay, so this is just cooler space and shelving only.
Yeah, this is just for the fish.
Okay, so something that might actually kind of limit, like the things that are being discussed here about, wanting additional, has there been space designated? Because you're saying the cooler space, which we get, but then you're talking about shelving. So is there like 3x6 or, a certain amount of space that's been designated? Because that would need to go in here as well, so you can dispel any future, we have this space, but now we need 3 more feet, or now we need,
Right.
So just another suggestion on that as well.
And in the ag meeting, didn't she allude that she was going to put up some type of something in there to separate, or she's going to do some? I mean, we certainly don't want that building modified to accommodate, unless it's to accommodate the ag department.
She was talking about putting something in there that was tight, but you didn't secure it.
And she didn't want to spend the money for it, or I don't know, it was something. Maybe you recall that conversation, but yeah, thank you for tabling.
Yes. Okay, let's call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 4, approval of the Tribal Energy Development Capacity Contract with Baker Tilly Advisory Group. Thank you, Sunny. Two, three, four. Okay, this is coming, I don't know who's presenting, but just to move things forward, this is coming back to council. This was presented before, and we had noted some changes that were going to be presented to Baker Tilly based on our recommendations. I know one of them was, with regards to arbitration, that we noted that it's Pawnee Nation and not the state. I know there were others, and I don't believe that there was any opposition to the changes that we had suggested. So now the contract is coming back to the council for approval because of the threshold.
Did we ever get a response from AG Vance if he had any comments?
On this contract?
Yeah.
Was this contract presented to the Attorney General? Yes.
Yes, and his comments were inserted with, especially number 10 and number 17 were the main areas that y'all requested AG Vance's opinion, which was with limited liability. So those were made changes, especially on arbitration with number 17 on the judicial venue. And if worst case scenario, we can bring in mediation to help support resolving any issues that may arise, but so those were inserted as well as y'all's recommendations. So I just went ahead and made that and put it in a final format.
Any other discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Butler, second by Vice President Canuho. Let's call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Okay, item number 5, Budget Committee recommendations. Treasurer Chapman?
Yes. The first one is the Medicare Improvements for Patients and Providers Act, MIPA. And as you can see on the forms, that is funded by the Administration for Community Living Administration, and the amount is for $4,820. And this money is to allow for outreach and education regarding Medicare, Medicaid, VA benefits, or other health benefits. So the actual funds are going to be used to educate our elders and our aging population about their benefits and the new updates with the laws. That's what this is for. $4,820. And the budget is attached here. And that's its sole purpose, education and outreach.
Are there any questions for Treasurer Chapman?
If not, I'll go ahead and make a motion.
Got a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion by Treasurer Chapman, second by Councilwoman Kimball. Let's call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Okay, item B, approval of 1035 food distribution travel match budget. Modification number 1.
Yes. This is from the Food Distribution Program, and the funding source is the USDA, and the amount is for $24,000. And this is to approve the increase of the Food Distribution Program tribal budget in the amount of $24,000 as is shown in the budget. And this amount was provided by USDA through the FDPIR, Supply Chain Assistance Funds, Commodity Credit Corporation. And it was provided to cover any food inventory shortage due to the monthly shipment not being delivered. And in Budget Committee, Ms. Canuho explained to us that this is going to be placed in there for needs, but at the current time, that they are not needing to use it currently because they're okay on their food items.
I think she kind of wanted to buy turkeys and hams and such during the holidays for that program, the clients.
Okay, can you kind of speak to this a little bit? Because we're putting this in the tribal budget, so is this a one-time
Yes.
funding given
Yes.
by
Mhm.
USDA?
Yes.
And
Yep.
then, because we're
Due to
putting
the
it.
issue.
What I'm getting at is because these are federal dollars, however, we're putting it into a tribal budget. And there's two different allowances there.
Right
Like
now.
federal budget has allowable expenditures versus the tribal budget, which is less restrictive. So is there anything that states that we have to do?
A different budget?
No, not a different budget, but like reporting wise.
Oh,
Do we know?
Brian, is there? I would imagine there is.
James, are you available
Oh,
to
James, yeah.
answer that?
From what I understood, it couldn't be placed into our food distribution federal funds. And if I remember correctly, Laura said it would, because it's like, I forgot what word she used, but was to be put in the federal part, in the tribal one, because it would, I'm trying to think what it falls under it can be used for anything. So if it's put in the federal one, it's limited to whatever that.
Yeah, there's a comment in the form. It's very difficult to read. It's like in a 6 font. I feel it'd be better not to mix funds with your grant funds because the financial reporting is related to the grant funds, and it appears these funds are to be used intermittently when inventory is down and food must be purchased elsewhere. Also, the food brought in by the truck is tracked separately but reported within the grant. If the funds were put into 4059, the possibility exists that all of the $24,000 could not be spent within the time frame, thereby holding up closeout at the end of the budget period and causing additional analysis while trying to separate truck supplies from the. So that's the logic of putting it into the tribal funds.
Can
Yeah,
we not put it into a separate one? Because you have tribal funds that you can spend like I said, they're less restrictive. Whatever is allowable, by the program, they can spend it, food purchase for meetings, those types of things.
Right.
But you're basically still commingling funds if you're putting it into the tribal budget. Does that make sense?
Yes,
So
there's-
they possibly could have 3 budgets. Their grant program, which, their grant funds, which basically provide funding for the program. Then you have their supplemental tribal funds, and then you have these program funds, which, like I said, reporting-wise, you still have to be able to report on them, and I don't know that you would be able to do that if you mix them with the tribal funds.
There's another comment
So-
down here
Yeah,
on that.
on the bottom of it, it says, I think a simpler way to utilize the funds, including keeping track of them for reporting purposes without getting them mixed up with grant funds, is to use the tribal program 1035 FDPIR match and use the already set up department code 904 food programs. This way we can keep a better track of the funds and be better able to spend them as needed until they're gone. That's difficult to read, but it's spit out there where they're suggesting it go.
And that's per grants and contracts.
Okay.
So from what I understood, had to do with thinking about was the inventory part of it.
Is there an end date to utilize these funds? Because the tribal match, of course, has to still tie with the funding year for the grant program. So is there,
Correct.
because what they're saying, basically you can use these funds at your discretion, there's no, like, it doesn't have to be spent all in 1 year, basically. It's whenever there's a food shortage. But is there a time that it, must be spent by? Because that's why I'm saying, is this a one-time distribution, basically almost like some type of settlement? Because it is, because they failed to deliver the food on time. So there was a shortage. So is this some kind of compensation? And if
That's what I-
if
that's what I
the case,
understand.
yeah, then I would see where it could turn over, from the federal hands to us after the payment, that it becomes tribal dollars. I just don't have the documents in front of me to read to see if all of that happens. I'm just trying to make sure we don't have any kind of commingling. So,
Yes.
Can we just approve it and then deal
well,
with where we're
yes,
going to put it?
Yes, and then see what, if you can check on that to make sure, that way we can still track on our end, and like I said, if there is a expiration to this expenditure of these funds.
Okay.
Okay, let's call for the vote. Oh, we don't have a motion yet. Motion to approve? Got a motion by Treasurer Chapman, is there a
Sorry,
second?
didn't hear I make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second by Secretary Gardefee. Let's call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardner, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Item number 6, approval of Resolution 2455, Pawnee Nation District Court Public Defender Temporary Emergency Appointment. What's her position? Court clerk. Susie Knuho, court clerk, came and asked if we could do a contract, temporary emergency appointment contract for the public defender. They have a case, a juvenile case, and there's 3 parties to the case. One of the parties is without representation now due to the resignation of the former public defender. And in order for them to have representation that's required by the court, she's asking for an appointment until the appointment is filled permanently. The documents that are presented before you are the standard documents that are used when appointing a public defender position, and the resolution is the same way. I know there's been discussion about the term limits, but that's what it's here for at this table and at this level, is for discussion and whether or not there are any oppositions to the contract moving forward. So is there any comments? I know one was regarding the 3-year term, but like I said, this is just a standard language that's in the contract and the resolutions. And so it's up to the body to determine how they want to proceed.
I just have a question.
Yes, Councilwoman Kimball.
Thank you. And the reason why I wanted it tabled is so we could have this discussion outside and just kind of have an understanding of it. I hate getting stuff and having to make a quick decision. I get it. We need to have a public defender. We don't have one right now. And I certainly don't want to impede anything. I just want to ensure that we're recruiting, that we have that opened and that we have some candidates, and that this isn't going to have to go for 4 years, that we're going to have somebody in place. That's my concern. I don't know how often they use it. I know that the courts has their own funding, and apparently they're able to provide the payment for it, so I don't want to impede any of that. My question is it's for 4 years. Are we going to pursue opening this up so we can get somebody in place? It might even be this person. I don't know.
The public defender position is currently being advertised, and the funding that will be utilized to pay this position, it's $400 per court day. The funding that will be used is the public defender's, I guess,
Budget.
line item in the
Budget.
budget, because
Okay.
it's vacated right now.
Okay. I'm good with it. Thank you.
So what is council's suggestion or recommendation for language, because I know that that was an issue that I had as well, because we're saying to serve as a public defender for a period of 3 years, to serve until the position is permanently filled, you know, and then not only that, but then once the position is filled, do we also insert language in here that says, you know, this appointment will cease, you know, on whatever date of the approval of the new one, or are we going to come back and rescind this one, or, you know?
I honestly think we need that. Just a verbiage in there, you know, until the position is
of the Pawnee
filled.
District Court has been permanently filled.
Because as I read it, it just looked like a 4-year contract, or a 3-year contract at $400 a day. I'm like, what?
Well,
I think it needs to first and foremost say that it's an emergency appointment.
oh, yeah, that was the other.
The second to the last whereas probably should be removed because we're not meeting the requirements of that we normally do. We are doing it as an emergency. So that would be my suggestion for that.
Where would you recommend putting that out?
Putting that or taking that from? Or putting the emergency? Probably in that space right there. Or even the Pawnee Business Council sees the need to do an emergency appointment for the Pawnee District Court and is hereby appointing Valerie Blackstock to the position of Pawnee District Court Public Defender.
Maybe until the time.
And then
Until
then
position
do a new
filled.
and then do a new whereas, and then put the start date will be obviously today's date,
Well, I think
and
this
something to
is
the
just
effect
for the
of running
appointment.
until the vacant position can be filled after advertised and interviews or something like that.
Let's see.
Just trying to rack through my brain and figure out what we did in the past, because we've done that in the past from previous resolutions where they did emergency appointments and then the
What
positions were
about-
advertised and interviewed, and then they let them know, hey, we made a selection, thank you for your service, we're going with this person. But this person has every right to apply for the position if they want to continue doing the work.
Do you
Okay.
think that we could say after to the position of Pawnee District Court Public Defender on a emergency contract basis until the position is filled?
I like that.
Upon,
And then now therefore be it resolved, would only have to say that the Pawnee Business Council does hereby confirm the emergency appointment of Valerie Blankenstock to serve as the public defender of the Pawnee Nation District Court. Period. Pawnee Nation District Court.
Pawnee Nation. So, under the professional service agreement, number 3, term, shouldn't some of that verbiage also be included in that, right?
okay, are we done with the resolution, recommendations for the
I thought we were.
resolution?
Yeah.
Okay, we have those noted. And then, go ahead, Councilwoman Kimball, on the professional service
Oh,
agreement.
yeah, it would just have this agreement shall be,
Oh, the same language.
same language.
Okay. Any other areas to address? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2455 with changes.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion by Councilwoman Butler. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, let's call for the vote.
Jordan Canujo,
Yes.
George Gardner, yes. Carol Chapman?
Yes.
Cynthia Butler?
Yes.
Gene Evans?
Yes.
Sammy Kimball?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, item number 6, we have open forum. Do we have anything for open forum? No. I would just like to ask if, Brian, if you can report on the community meeting that was held regarding the Behavioral Health Center. Just kind of just give an overview and then where we're at on that.
I sure can. So currently, we're working on, so last Tuesday, we had our town hall meeting regarding the behavioral health facility. I appreciate some of the council being able to make it. It was a good turnout. Had quite a few people from young age all the way up to elders. So it was a great opportunity just to interact from community folks from all ages. I believe there was about 30 to 40 folks that showed up. So from an event that was pretty great to see. So there was myself, a representation from Ascension that's going to play a valuable role in managing the facility. So it gave us an opportunity just to engage folks to continue our due diligence from, a program standpoint. We want to make sure that we continue engagement with our tribal community as well as our other stakeholders throughout. And this is just one attribute that we were able to engage with, is really tying into our tribal members directly and seeing what they were dealing with in the community, and that's directly or indirectly. This is a sensitive topic as we dive a little bit deeper into it, but it's always one of those things that we see throughout our community as a drastic need. And I think we've been putting a lot of those pieces in place to getting us to where we are. Just moving into that next phase of program development is always being consistent with the involvement with the community. This has been a long road, and we just want to make sure as we get further throughout that, services are, the ones that are needing. So it gave us opportunity to interact with that. We had a PowerPoint, but right off the bat, questions were hitting us, so that was great. We just had that PowerPoint just in case, it got silent in the room. But it was great dialogue across the board, so it gave us, an opportunity to really, talk about numerous services, looking at the substance use disorder from adolescents to adults, really dive in a little bit deeper into medication, assisted treatment for adults, and then really looking at the mental health attributes that tie along with that on co-occurring disorders and things like that that are associated, but really looking at it. And what we got in this meeting was a lot of the adolescent things that was brought up. Seeing the issues that are going on with our youth and making sure that, not just from a clinical standpoint, but it was great to have our substance abuse program. A lot of work that Electa's doing on her assessment things can tie into that, but really seeing what our supplement services can benefit from a clinical aspect and building those programs that Pawnee Nation oversee and making sure that we're just continue those efforts, engaging our tribal members from a young age all the way to adults. So, it kind of, was mentioned in the meeting that, hey, we're already starting to build out phase 2. So one of those things was just really continue engaging and just making sure that we have these services brought to our attention so we can build around that. But yeah, I think that was kind of like a synopsis of it. After that, was one going back and being part of the naming part of it, so that was a good open discussion, and it kind of got resolved after we're going to bring it to the Charter Council after that. So, they were able to meet last Saturday, and their recommendations was go with the Pawnee Nation Behavioral Health. Yeah, Pawnee Nation Behavioral Health. And that was their recommendations from the Charter, so I shared it with the incorporators, and that went to a vote, and that was kind of the name that was picked upon. So we went ahead and told the TCI to kind of get that monument visual together and things like that. So we're moving forward with that. And let's see. continue, again, I want to recruit, because we had art supply competition going on. It ends on March 14th. If there's folks, we really, really want art from our tribal members or anything associated through that transformation to prosperity when we're looking at getting clean, getting healing, moving forward. So we do got that going on still. Mike Ortiz, where our substance abuse program, still got art supplies. If you're interested in it, we can supply those art supplies on it. It is for canvases that we're looking for, so you can do pencils, acrylic paints, watercolors, whatever it may be. We got some stuff in stock, so we encourage folks, at least on that, please call executive office. Mike's information's on our website, but again, we're recruiting tribal art to be displayed in that, and again, that ends on March 14th, I believe, and there is a prize compensation associated with it, but again, outside of that, we're just really looking for artwork to kind of help through that transition. I think that's everything in a nutshell. I know I kind of went probably longer than what you wanted, but again, it was a great opportunity for us to just continue that involvement. I think one of the things that we want to highlight is we building this facility because we hear the voices in our community, and that building every brick by brick illustrates that. So thank you.
All right. Thank you for that.
I have something.
Yes,
I think
Councilwoman.
there's a little bit more than just behavioral health going on. We have a cultural language classes that are tomorrow evening. If you haven't signed up, I encourage you to do that. After the language class will be a cultural class that is being done by the cultural leadership. You're encouraged to reach out and learn a little bit. Also on the 22nd, this coming Sunday, there's going to be a fall dance and feast here at the Pawnee camp. But you're encouraged also to come in and join that. We also are busy with having the Pawnee Arikara reunion. Mark your calendars for October 11th through the 13th. That's going to be here in Pawnee, America. So those are some of the highlights that I'm looking at that I encourage people to come and join and enjoy. Thank you.
And the classes that you're referencing, those are the in-person classes, correct? That's correct. Yes, because
But you can also Zoom.
Online is today.
Yeah, you
on
can Zoom, and
Tuesdays.
unfortunately, it's on Tuesdays, but
Yeah.
I'm a member now, so I can Zoom in. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Any other announcements? Yes, Brian?
Just a few more. September 23rd at 8 a.m. at the Building 64 courtyard, we'll have a cedar blessing going on. So we want to make sure anyone that's want to participate in that is welcome. I believe our VAW is doing a paint your partner. So that would consist of you just painting your partner on the canvas. That is going to be at Rome Chief, September 25th at 6 p.m. And then the Pawnee County Mental Health Coalition meet and greet at the Pawnee Community Center, September 26th at 6 p.m. is also going on. So those are just a few little also reminders that
All
I
right,
just wanted
thank
to
you.
share.
Did you have some? Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to announce too, I'll send out an email, but we were on a joint committee meeting last week with the Direct Service Tribes Advisory Committee and the Secretary's Tribal Advisory Committee, and we were informed that there will be a government shutdown, that they're preparing for a government shutdown. So we've reached out to Treasurer Chapman, and we will be, we're planning to have the Budget Committee meeting on the 26th. And next, this is going on into item number 7, set the next meeting date. So we will need to have the council meeting on September the 30th because that is the last day of the fiscal year. And so on the 26th, we're needing the federal budgets to be approved. And then that way, on the next council meeting on the 30th, they can have approval by the PBC, because October 1st starts our fiscal year. With IHS and with our self-governance programs, the only programs or departments that we know that are going to be serviced with federal funds is our self-governance programs, because IHS was approved advanced appropriations. So there shouldn't be no disconnect with those services. In having this budget committee meeting, we also look at developing a plan for addressing, should the shutdown incur, as to how we're going to proceed with our employees that are ran with those federal funds. So just know that that's coming down the pike as well. Anything else? Any other announcements? And that moves us to item 7, set the next meeting date. Are there any?
I have an announcement,
Yes,
just one. I'm
Councilman.
sorry. I was trying to
Go
turn
ahead.
my mic on. I just wanted to remind the council that the Chamber Roundtable is tomorrow at 11:30 at the City of Pawnee, if you guys wanted to attend.
And where's that at?
City of Pawnee, 510 Illinois Street. It's City Hall.
City Hall, okay. Okay, does anybody have any conflicts with September the 30th? That's going to be on a Monday, 5:30. Okay. The next item we have is item number 8, adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Councilwoman Butler and second by Vice President Canujo. Let's call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardner, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I have us adjourned at 6:45 PM. Thank you, everybody.